Hi, everybody. My name is Jason File. I am the teacher for this online Introduction to Mythology class that we're having this summer. I wasn't teaching this class until recently, and then I swapped with another instructor, and I took it over. And actually, we screwed up the book order right off the bat. So if you've bought your book now, I forget what Allison. The previous instructor was Allison Collin, who's phenomenal. Um, I forget what book she had for this class, um, but I haven't read the book that she uses, and I use different ones. So I just got back from the bookstore, and it's all sorted out now. If you bought Allison's book, you can return it for full refund. Um, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the books that we'll be using for this class. Uh, Probably not today, probably at a later time. Um, So, anyways, I just wanted to introduce myself and show you our Canvas shell and talk a little bit about the course, what to expect this summer. I think I probably should say a little bit that I'm a full-time tenured humanities instructor at Sierra College. I'm the only actually full-time tenured humanities instructor at Sierra College, and I've been teaching this class for about maybe 15 years now. Um, but it's constantly in development. I'm actually actively working on it and constantly updating it and doing and redoing things. It's an amazingly interesting subject. Mythology is really cool, but it turns out to be really hard to teach too in terms of how to structure it and how to assess work that students do and things like that. So it's very much a work in progress. There are faults and flaws in the presentation, and I'm constantly working on trying to make it better. But it is a cool. I love mythology, and it what we've got so far is pretty good. It's not as great as I would like it to be, but it's pretty good. And almost all my students who take this class enjoy it. So this is an 8-week summer class, and I think I wanted to just kind of explain to you how that works. The normal college semester is 16 weeks. And for these online classes, um, we generally try to give students about 6 hours worth of work per week. That's 3 hours that they would normally be in lecture. We give them 3 hours of work that stands in for the lecture, and then 3 hours of homework, which is a very standard, typical workload for a college level liberal arts class. So 6 hours a week over a 16-week semester. When you smash that in half into 8 weeks, you also double the workload. So 6 hours a week turns into 12. So it's a not, those of you who've taken summer school classes before know that it's a significant undertaking. I mean, it's not like you can just check in once a week and blitz the workout and get it done. You can't do that. So I just wanted to sort of underscore, the idea that this is a significant workload, and you should be prepared for a significant workload. Um, Having said that, I think this is probably one of the lower. I mean, there's not. I don't know if we have 6 hours worth of work even during the regular semester. I'm trying to come up with more content and more things, but this might be one of the easier classes in an 8-week format that you can take. I don't know, but it might be. Anyways, so all that's background. Prepare for a lot of work. Maybe it might not be as much as we thought, but anyways, be prepared for doing a lot of work. So this is our homepage. It's crap in terms of there's just some information here about the humanities department, what the humanities is, humanities 15, introduction to mythology. Maybe I'll replace this little text blurb here with this video because this is just like kind of pointless or whatever. But anyways, if you want to know what humanities is, it's here in this particular class, Hum 15, it's here. My contact information is here, Zoom link, my CV, my background, if you want to, are interested in what I've taught and where I've been and stuff like that. But almost all of your, and then the syllabus. So we're going to look at the syllabus, and this will give you all of the assignments to expect. So for Sunday, all assignments are going to be due on Sunday midnight, no exceptions. I like to keep things very, very simple and straightforward so that every week you guys know what to expect. So that we're not asking you to log in on some kind of random Wednesday at 2:34 and have something done. Um, I know that there's other classes that are set up like that, and I don't want to add to the confusion on your part. So like everything we do is due Sunday at midnight, period. And then the whole big batch of the next week's material becomes available at Monday at 12:01 a.m. and you can just start working on it. So, so that's that. The first week is very, very light. I just ask you to read the syllabus, take a little quiz on it, introduce yourself to the class. I introduce our first book that we'll be reading called the Ramayana, which is more information in the little video, and then a quiz on my video presentation of the Ramayana. And the quiz is like, did you watch the video? It's like one question, true or false. I watched the video and I'm going to get a copy of the Ramayana. True? Yeah. Okay. 100%. You can retake it a million times until you get the right answer. Super easy. And then a note to instructor. Just let me know if there's any issues you're dealing with or things like that that I should know to be on the lookout for so I can help you out. The second week is the topics of the course or myths about the sun and the stars. This class has always, so far as I have ever heard it, mythology has always been taught culture by culture, whether that's at Sierra College or at UC Santa Barbara or at Chapel Hill where I went to grad school or at UC Berkeley or Stanford or whatever. You take a mythology class and you're like, let's look at Greek mythology, let's look at Egyptian mythology, now let's look at Hindu mythology, and they go culture by culture by culture. And this particular class is very, very Western. When you look at the course description, it's like Judeo-Christian mythology, Greek mythology, Roman mythology, Egyptian, Near Eastern, and like Viking. And all of that is more or less one cultural tradition. And what it leaves out is like the rest of the world: African mythology, Native American mythology, Indian subcontinent mythology, Southeast Asian, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Australian Aborigine. I mean, just like leaves out the stories told by a huge part of the world. And, I just wanted to change that. I just didn't like that, to just focus on Western mythology. It just seemed kind of silly, actually. So I reorganized the class a couple of years ago, and that's part of the reason why I'm still working on it, is because it's just a massive undertaking. But I'm teaching the class now according to topic. So the first topic is the sun. And within that topic, all cultures all over the world tell stories about the sun. So now we're not limited by just Western mythology. Now we can talk about, Amaterasu, the Japanese sun goddess, or we can talk about the Hopi solstice dance. And there's just tons and tons of things that are open. Or we could talk about Helios, the Greek god. I mean, we can and do and will discuss Western mythology. I love Western mythology. We're just not limited by it. So I'll give you a look at some of the topics. So the first week is just general introduction stuff, and then the sun and the stars, the earth and the moon, fire and water, mountains and caves, plants and animals, agriculture, death, sex. And these are all topics that we'll be exploring as they're discussed in the world's mythological traditions. So this class I'm creating on a week-by-week basis. I've never taught it in an 8-week format before. I've taught it in 16 weeks plenty of times, but never 8. So that requires some work on my end. So I'll be working every week to get the next week's modules set up. So they're not set up ahead of time. I don't have this class. I'm writing the class as we go, or I'm editing it or whatever. But anyways, so I'll be working on it actively throughout the course of the summer, trying to get you what you need to get the next week prepared. And you every Monday morning at 12:01, you'll have a new batch of assignments. But you won't necessarily be able when you these are all unpublished, so you won't actually be able to access these or see them until this week's assignments are done. Okay. So let's see. So yeah, so this is the modules. This is where you should go for all of your information. I mean, the modules page is the central page of this whole course. For the Sun and the Stars, we'll be watching a video presentation by a gentleman named Joseph Campbell, who I like but don't love. But one of the things that's really interesting is that there aren't. Part of the problem here is I haven't found tons and tons of really great content. I'm still looking actually for really great stuff to put in front of you. Um, but Joseph Campbell is it's good. It's very good. He's just old. It's just 50 years old. So, I mean, you're looking at some dude in a suit and tie in the 1970s. I mean, he's a smart guy, and I just wish we had something a little more updated. But be prepared to go a little retro for these Campbell videos. But he's a very smart, insightful, and interesting guy, and one of the most important people in the study of world mythology, really ever. And then I have a lecture myself on the topics of the sun and the stars. And then every week you'll be given an assignment to find a podcast on a topic that you want to hear. So one of the things about mythology that I really am drawn to is that traditionally mythology has been oral, verbal, by word of mouth. People would tell stories, not read them, no books. Most people throughout history have not been literate. Very small percentage. But people have always told stories, and most of the stories are just told, on the village green or over a dinner or around a campfire or while you're working or whatever. The lived mythology of the world has been experienced through the ears, not through the eyes as you read. And that's a big difference. It is a really big difference. All kinds of things come through the spoken word that you do not get through the written word. Tone of voice, timing, inflection, humor. I mean, there's a lot. So to sort of underscore and honor that aspect of mythology, I've for every week of my 16-week class, I have students listen to a podcast. So you're listening to the story, so you're hearing them, and you could pick whatever podcast you want. You could explore whatever topic you want. If you're into Celtic mythology, you could spend all 16 units listening to podcasts on Celtic mythology. Or if you're into Japanese mythology, or if you like to spread it around. I mean, it's really up to you. But you'll be asked to find a podcast, usually 10 or 20 or minutes or so. Listen to a myth, and then just kind of write up what do you think of it. It's just like a credit, no credit thing. And then you'll have a discussion assignment too every week where you get online and talk with your classmates about this, that, or the other. All right, so that's all I'm going to say for now. I'll have more information as the and more video presentations as the semester goes along. The books that you'll need to get are the Ramayana by William Buck, and the bookstore has a few copies of those now, and are ordering more. And then a book called Joseph and the Way of Forgiveness by a guy named Stephen Mitchell, which is a retelling. It's called a midrash in the Jewish tradition. A retelling of a biblical story is called a midrash, and it's a midrash of this really wonderful story from the book of Genesis in the Bible, story of Joseph. So we'll read the Hindu Ramayana and the Jewish midrash on Joseph, and you'll have one other book report one other book to read for the class. So anyways, I'll have more to say later. Send me an email or a Canvas PM or whatever if you have any questions. Go ahead and get those books. They're on the in the modules tab. Book reports, general information. Actually, I need to publish that, don't I? The two. Go ahead and get the two required books, if you can. The Ramayana, this one here, and also Joseph and the Way of Forgiveness. You can get them an electronic copy, Audible copy, whatever. But get those 2 books and get started on them. And then you'll have one other, but I'll tell you more about that later. All right, that's it for now. Let me know if you guys have any questions or concerns or anything like that. I'll talk to you later.